Just let the cameras get set here. All right, we'll open the floor.
Ed, as you look forward to the fourth matchup with Calgary, what do you take away from the first three games you played against them?
They were both close games. I mean, as a defense, we study film, we watch film, and they pretty much came and showed us what they would do on film. They did the same thing on the field. So they have a couple of wrinkles in their offense to kind of attack our defense because they know what we're going to play at this point in the season. I mean, everybody's going to, do what they know how to do best. So they're going to have some ways to attack our defense. So I'm pretty sure we'll expect to see the things that we saw on film tomorrow.
Your defense had literally half the sacks that Calgary gave up this year. You guys had half of them, and you had almost half of Bo's interceptions. What allowed you guys to have that success?
Just like I was just said, film study, knowing that they're going to, be who they are, on film. They're not going to come and try and, I guess, I don't even know how you want to put it, but I mean, they're a confidence team that, they believe in themselves and what they do, so they're not going to really stray away too far from what they show on film, especially if they're having any type of success against us. They're going to try to continue to use those same plays to attack our defense. So, yeah, like I said, just studying film and being ready for when the plays come. Like I said, we know how they're going to try to attack the weaknesses of our defense.
Do you basically know that they're going to come out and try to hit you on that first drive? I mean, that seems to be what they do.
Yeah, they're gonna try. They're gonna try to come out and jump out on us and get a lead. They like playing ahead, so we got to stop there first. 20 plays at a half, and if we can stop those plays, those are when they bring in all the new plays for sure. So we'll see what they have new for us, and then after that, they'll pretty much get back into their regular offense.
The turnovers were big in those three games. You guys, clawed back into games through turnovers. How big a factor do you anticipate sort of confusing Bo, forcing turnovers to be?
Well, it's the postseason, so turnovers and the run game really pretty much decides the fate of the game, and when it gets cold out there, and see the winner go home.
With their run game, what do you guys have to do just as a group? I mean, it's everyone on the field to stop a guy like Kadeem Carey.
We just have to read our keys, know when they're trying to attack us with the run game, down and distance the situations. And like you said, I mean, we just got to rally to the ball, get 12 hats to the football, and make sure we wrap up and get them to the ground.
And what does this home playoff game mean to you after the way 2019 ended and having 2020 canceled?
I had an interview yesterday, but basically at this point, we've been trying to rebuild every year, and we make it to the playoffs. We win Western Division, we come in second place or whatever, get us a home playoff game. But at the end of the day, we got to take that next step forward and make it to the Grey Cup and win the ring.
Is there bad blood between these two teams? Because it seemed all week both teams have been pretty respectful when you guys are talking.
It's always bad blood, but I'm just going to speak for myself. I've been here for, 4 or 5 years, so I can't stand Calgary or Winnipeg. So, I wouldn't want the playoff picture to be any other way.
Coach said the other day that he had to address the team just to remind them what was at stake tomorrow. Do you feel that was necessary?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, like he said, we handle our business in the regular season, and then to lose in the first game of the playoffs or the first game that we play, it's not really what we come to do. You can look at it in a positive light, but the common goal, the common thing every year is to win the Grey Cup. So it's very important.
And can you describe the connection you build with guys over the course of a year, over the course of multiple years? Is there something you can equate it to that non-athletes can understand it as?
I mean, it's just a brotherhood, I guess, you know, fraternity. Like we all have one common goal, like I said, and when you come up here and, you know, sometimes you have adversity, you know, sometimes the guys are going through some things, you know, it brings you closer whenever you can get through those things together. So, I mean, I would say a brotherhood, fraternity, however you want to put it.
Ed, you talked about being here for a few years. How much is it important to really be able to prepare and maybe even get some of the younger guys prepared to ride the ups and downs and keep a level head tomorrow?
It's very important, you know. Coming from a guy like me, like talking about keeping a level head is kind of hard. But at the end of the day, man, you just gotta believe and trust in your teammates. And like I said, there's going to be adversity. The game's not going to be perfect. So the more positive we can stay, the more belief that we have in ourselves that we're going to get it done, then the better off we'll be. So, I mean, I just broke it down in the locker room with the team, with the defense, and I relayed that message. So tomorrow, expect for us to, you know, be even keel and, you know, just be positive about the whole outcome.
Hey Ed, how much of a difference does Reggie Beckleton make to this team compared to the one you played 3 times before?
I mean, he brings another weapon to the offense. So we know they're going to try to get him the ball. You know, he's a big, physical, strong receiver. So you know, he brings a little bit of more edge to their offense.
He's a guy who gets lots of yards after carry. Is the goal just keep the ball out of his hands, or I mean, what can you do to limit that if he does get with his goal?
Just play football, man. You know, he's not Superman. He puts on pants just like we do. So, got to read our keys and, you know, realize when he's in front of us, then, you know, we might be hot. So, I mean, when he's in front of me, I'm going to know. I'm get my knees bent, get down, get ready to get my eyes in the right place, and, you know, go from there.
Right, thanks, Ed.
Appreciate y'all.
We'll just let the cameras get set here. Cody?
Threw me off guard.
Is it nice to see everybody?
It is nice, yeah. Instead of staring and then I'm looking off into space and it just looks bad for me.
Last thing on my camera, Cody, was you talking about how it felt to lose the 2019 Western Final.
Oh man, I might have to throw this Gatorade at it.
All right, go ahead.
Cody, what do you take away from the first 3 meetings with Calgary as it pertains to this game?
Yeah, honestly, I watched that tape pretty closely. There was a few things that we did offensively where we just shot ourselves in the foot. Thinking back on it, you know, I threw a pick on the first series. I got my arm hit and just threw it right to their Sam. We were driving again. We had a holding penalty and then took a sack after that, got us out of field goal range. And then another one, we were down in the red zone and the ball hit Linnaeus' shoulder on just some fluky stuff and ended up being a turnover. So we were moving the ball really well on them. We just didn't capitalize. And that's what you got to do in the playoffs. I learned that in 2019 and pretty much my entire career in the CFL, that if you don't score touchdowns in playoff games, you don't have any chance to win. So kicking field goals is not the answer anymore, and that's what we got to be better at as an offense. I got to be better at being aggressive in the red zone. Just because you have 3 points doesn't mean let's just take the 3 points and move on. You got to find ways to take shots to some of your good receivers and get the ball in the end zone.
When you talk about aggressive, does that include third downs, or are you specifically saying red zone?
That's not my call, way above my pay grade, but we'll see, how the game dictates us. And I like going on third down. I don't know what our percentage is, but it's got to be pretty good this year on third down. I feel like we've gone for quite a bit, and we've stayed on the field for the most part. So with that being said, you're always looking to steal an extra possession, whether that's going for it on third down, a fake field goal, a fake punt, an onside kick, right? You're always looking to steal an extra possession, and every team is in the playoffs because those possessions mean so much.
Cody, I don't know if redemption's the right word, but do you view this as a way to finally put 2019 and how that game ended in the rear view with coming out and playing well in this one?
For sure. I mean, I thought going 9-5 and hosting a semi-playoff game would help, but obviously to the fans, playoffs mean everything, and in that locker room, the playoff games mean everything. The regular season's over, right? And for me to right all my wrongs of the 2019 season, having to sit on that for 2 years now has been really tough. Mentally, even going through a whole year and just knowing as the playoffs lead up to it, just knowing how that game ended. Going to leave everything out there on the field, and I know when I go back into my locker, no matter what the outcome, win or lose, I know I'm going to give it everything I got. I don't think there's going to be any sliding in the repertoire tomorrow, so people might be a little upset about that. But that's what happens in the playoffs, right? You got to find ways to just get that extra yard, that extra inch, because you never know what that extra yard can mean in the outcome of the game.
What's it been like in that locker room this week? We've heard Duke and stories about Dan Clark kind of just telling the team, like, this is it, this is win or go home.
Yeah.
Has that been the case more this week with the fact that it is playoffs?
For sure, and I think a lot of those guys, for the most part, that are speaking up are the guys that are carryover from 2019. And having that gut punch after the 2019 year and the way the season ended, you understand it really is win or go home. And for us American guys, it truly is that, because you lose and you go right home, and you don't get to have an opportunity to erase that bad taste in your mouth until the next year. So going into this one, guys will be excited. I think we got to find a way to just kind of control our emotions early. Both sides will be really amped up. The crowd's going to be pretty electric. So I think especially on offense, and myself included, try not to get too high, because that's when you can make a mistake or miss a throw, and trying to be that even-keeled. I've watched Ricky Ray do it for very many years of being even-keeled, even in the biggest games. And so try to channel my inner Ricky Ray out there when the electric of the stadium is going through the roof.
I believe the Stampeders allowed the third fewest sort of passes of 30-plus yards in the league. Is patience the key with them?
Well, it goes well with our offense, right? We haven't really connected on the deep ball. So if anything, that's a strength for us. I think we do a good job of throwing the ball underneath. I think, and I've said this, I think I'm one of the best intermediate to short game throwers. And if they want to give me the underneath stuff, and it's got to be a 10, 11, 12-play drive, I think that's what we got to do. But it is nice to throw a ball and have a 2 or 3-play drive, long touchdown. Helps the big boys up front get to the sideline, get to the bench, get warm a little bit quicker. And also just helping you rhythm of a game. It's so hard to drive the field in 10, 11, 12-play drives. So with that being said, we're going to take what the defense gives us, and we're going to take our shots when we need to. But that's a good team, and they're really hot right now, and everyone wants to talk about them, and we're kind of in this underdog role, even though we're at home. And guys feel in that locker room, and we want to go out there and show this league why we are a 9-win team.
You guys feel like the underdog? Because honestly, I feel like in the media we can't figure out who's the underdog.
I don't read much of the media anyways, but I think the underdog mentality, especially on offense, people have been kind of dragging our name through the mud all year. And like I said, we're a 9-win team, and everyone wants to talk about the deep ball, and we're finding ways to win games, and no one wants to really talk about that. So we do have a chip on our shoulder offensively. I think this whole team has a chip on their shoulder because of what happened with the whole All-Star ballot thing, and there's a lot of guys I know that think that they got snubbed, and there's going to be a chip on their shoulder. There's going to be some motivation. I think it's going to be a slugfest. Get your popcorn ready, because I think it's going to be a great CFL football game.
I asked Dad, I've been trying all week in Calgary to get them to talk trash about you, and they've basically just refused me every single time. I asked him, and he said, he's like, look, I don't like Calgary. I don't like Winnipeg. Is that sort of where you're at?
I've never talked trash, I don't think, in my life. And even when people yip on the field, I just kind of smile, because that's what makes the game fun. But as soon as I start talking back, then I'm more focusing on that and not really the next play at hand. But when somebody's talking smack to you, you know that they got a little bit of respect for you because they're trying to get in your head. I think Calgary's a great team, and they found a way to go from a 2-win team to getting into the playoffs and being one of the hottest teams in the CFL, right? So we're going to have our hands full, and we just want to have a chance to have the ball or have a chance to win the game in the fourth quarter. And the best way to do that is try not to turn the ball over. Something I did a little bit more than I wanted to this year was threw a little bit more interceptions. So I got to be smarter with the ball. But like I talked about, you can't be too conservative. You got to take your shots when they're there, and you got to be aggressive. But it's going to be a great CFL football game. They're a really good football team, and we got to do everything we can and play a clean game just to give ourselves a chance.
This is the latest time of year, including Grey Cups, that a game has ever been played here. So this could have gone so much the other way, as you saw in the blizzard last week. You feel fortunate you can just worry about football tomorrow, not the elements?
Absolutely. I think the football gods kind of blessed us with good weather, knowing that we missed a whole year of football, right? Last week, I felt bad for Isaac Harker because he had to deal with it all week, and the 1 week I take off, it was the worst weather we had. So I must be pretty close with the big man upstairs because he definitely showed some love this week, and that's what's going to make, you think about it, and when we started this season so late, everyone talked about how the playoffs is going to be cold, and you got to have a run game, and it's going to be snowing. You got to have a run game for sure, but going out there in 32-degree weather feels pretty good knowing how late it is. And I think guys are going to be really excited to go out there and not be all bundled up, right? You're going to be able to go out there and just play football, and there's no excuse, right? Sometimes with weather, you get a little bit of excuses, and there's no excuse. If the weather's beautiful, it's just best team wins. And that's what we're looking forward to is putting our best foot forward and give ourselves a chance.
Cody, you talked about this being a game you're looking forward to, and your wife coming up here. Did she make it?
She did make it. Yeah, a lot of craziness. Her flight got canceled, and I had to wake up one morning at 2 a.m, go pick her up from the airport. But having my wife here and going home to her after every practice and just having somebody there for you, it's tough. It's tough to be an American in this league. It's tough to be here without your family. A lot of people have their kids are at home, their wife's at home, their entire family's at home. So it's really hard. So having these special moments to have your wife with you and to look up to the stands and see her in the stands is going to mean a lot to me, no matter what's going on. And even if things get crazy, just having her in the stands and looking up, I think that'll help calm me and help me focus a little bit more I tell you guys all the time, life's bigger than just football. And there's a lot of things when your wife's in town that you realize that there's more to life than just football. Of course, I want to win this game more than anybody probably in this room or in this province. But with that being said, I think when you don't put too much pressure on yourself, especially being the starting quarterback for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, you already have a ton of pressure on you. You can't put any more than you need. So just go out there, play fun, play fast, and make my wife proud, make my family proud to have the last name Fajardo.
Does it also feel normal in the sense maybe?
This feels normal, having you guys here. Yeah, absolutely. This is the closest to normal I think it's felt, without a doubt. With all the COVID protocol stuff going on in the locker room, it's really hard for teams, I think, to get close. The team camaraderie isn't as close, I think, because of that. We're in different rooms. We don't get to be all in the team meeting room when Coach Dickey has his opening presentation. We're all at separate rooms, right? So it's a little bit harder, especially as a leader or trying to be a leader on this team. It's hard to connect with guys when you are in different rooms and you barely see anybody. You can't work out at the same time, right? You can't walk through at the same time. So there's a lot of COVID protocol things that I think inhibit that ability for you to get close. But having a bunch of guys that are from the 2019 team who do carry over, I think that core that we have has really helped this team get a lot closer.
We always hear about sort of camaraderie and how you guys build this bond. I mean, that sounds awful, not being able to be in the same room.
It is, yeah, because, I've talked about this before. The thing I'll miss most when I'm done playing football is the locker room. Coming into a locker room after a win is probably one of the best things and best experiences, other than getting married, is one of the highlights of your life, right? And the relationships you build with people from different backgrounds, different ethnicity, different upbringings, right? There's so many different personalities in that locker room, and we all come together for one common goal, and that's to win a Grey Cup. And when you can just sit down and have lunch with somebody and ask them, what life was like and, how your college experience was, how your CFL experience is, you don't really get that with the COVID protocol. So hopefully things change moving into next year. But we try to do as much as we can. I try to do as much as I can just to relate to those guys. We do have a lot of new faces in that locker room, a lot of new guys to the CFL, and I wish I could be a little more hands-on and get to know those guys a little bit better, but you can only do so much with the protocol.
Cody, you touched on the bit. Duke yesterday mentioned Calgary sits back and plays zone. What does that demand of you as a quarterback, of you as an offense?
Yeah, you know what they do really well is they get a lot of pressure with their front four. They don't bring, the 3-game breakdown, they hardly ever pressured us. And now they might flip the script and do that differently on us. But when you can create pressure with your front four with a lot of twist games, a lot of games up front, it makes it very hard, one, as a running quarterback to kind of just see a lane and run and take off because they take those pass lanes out. But also, as a quarterback, you got to be extremely accurate because when you are rushing four, you get 8 guys in coverage and you aren't going to be able to throw the deep ball. You have to throw the intermediate stuff, and sometimes you got to let it just rip confidently. And I think in the first couple times I did play Calgary, dating back to 2019, I didn't rip things confidently. And as I played them more and more, you understand that you better rip it confidently if you want to move the football. And so there's going to be some throws, like I said, that I got to be aggressive on, and I just got to have confidence. And if I end up throwing an interception, you have to do it, and you can't let that affect your next throw because they want you to throw the underneath stuff, rally. They're great tacklers, and get you in 2nd and long or get you off the field. I've seen time and time again, I watched the tape over and over and over again, that if you have no first down efficiency against this team, you have no chance to beat them. So if we are not good on first down, we'll have no chance to win this game. So our goal every week is to be efficient on first down. And you guys will know, just as early as I'll know, how things are going based off our first down efficiency.
Cody, you kind of touched on it, but it kind of feels like as an offense, it's been a while since you guys have kind of been pleased with yourselves. So how do you kind of maintain the confidence that you guys will be able to flip the switch tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, as an athlete, as a professional athlete, you set a standard for you so high. But I think it's more the media who thinks that we're worse than what we are. That offensive room is very confident because we're a 9-win football team. Like I talked about, we find ways to win games. If we start slow tomorrow, which is not our goal, but if we start slow, we've won games by starting slow. We'd love to start fast, and we'd love to have this great offensive game where we're able to put up 100 points. But it's just not going to happen in a playoff atmosphere against a really good team like Calgary. We're just going to go out there and do our job. Try not to do too much and just believe in each other. And I think that's what this offense does best is we believe in the guy next to us more than ourselves, right? We want to do it for the guy next to us rather than for ourselves. And when you have that mentality, you have a chance to get yourself in a good situation. And here we are hosting a semifinal game.
You've referenced it a couple times just with the media maybe not believing in you guys. You mentioned the All-Star snub, so without naming names, there are guys in that locker room who are feeling like they got pretty snubbed.
Absolutely. There's plenty of guys in that locker room who are going to be flying around tomorrow, and I feel sorry for some of the Calgary guys that got to go against them because they're going to be flying around and got a chip on your shoulder, and that's not a bad thing. So thank you guys for giving us a little chip on our shoulder, a little motivation going into the game. I don't think we need it anymore, but the more the merrier, and I think guys are going to be excited just to go out there and prove why we are a 9-win team, why we are second in the West football team.
How many All-Stars should you have?
That's a great question. I don't have that answer for you. If I voted, maybe I'd have that answer, but I definitely know it shouldn't have been 2.
All right, thanks. That's a good place to leave it.
Shout out to Barker for getting me in the CFL. Thank you.
I can drink these.
Yeah, you can drink one. For sure you can.
Drink the blue ones? Dude.
I don't. This is my least favorite.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
'Cause everyone's always complaining when the blue isn't made for practice.
that's a different blue.
Is it?
This is cool blue. The other one is Glacier Freeze. Yeah.
learn something every day.
All right, guys, you can go ahead.
Shaq, if you would, rank the Gatorade flavors for us. I'm impressed that you knew that.
Yeah, Glacier Freeze is my favorite, so I know that one for sure.
What's the prospect of playing Calgary? What's the challenge for you? What's the excitement for you? How do you approach this?
The challenge is, they're a disciplined team. They play their zones very well, and they don't get out of position too much. It's hard to get a big play on them. They try to make you dink and dunk down the field and make you become impatient and then make a mistake. So I think that's the challenge there. But obviously the excitement is that it is Calgary and that we have a chance to get revenge from earlier in the season when they beat us here in a game where I feel like we should have won. And so I'm just excited to get another chance at them. And it's the playoffs, so how can you not be excited?
For you, have they frustrated you in the games you played against them this season?
Yeah, they frustrated me every game I played in my career, because they're always playing, like I said, zone, and I've always had bad luck against them. Like I remember I got knocked out a game last year at home against them with a concussion, and then every game against them has always been tough for me. I don't know why. It's just some with their scheme, or I can't never get the ball. But obviously that doesn't matter. As long as I'm out there as a distraction sometime or things like that, I don't really care. I just want to win, and at the end of the day, as long as we get out there with a win, I'm going to be ecstatic. I don't care if I have 0 catches. I just want a W.
Shaq, what does this game mean to you with the fact you're here in 2018 and 2019 where there were the home playoff losses?
Oh man, this is the biggest game of my life, so far. So like you said, coupled with the fact that we lost in 2018 to Winnipeg, 2019 to Winnipeg, and they both were at home. So like Coach Dickey said in the week, there's pressure, and I want everybody to feel pressure because I feel like pressure, makes diamonds, and I live for pressure. I'm excited for a game like this. I haven't had too many opportunities like this in my lifetime. I didn't make the playoffs in high school, didn't win any championships in college, so this game is super important to me, and I think everybody in that locker room feels the exact same way I do.
What's it been like in that locker room? We've been hearing about guys like Dan Clark, Duke Williams, and even Coach just telling guys how important this game is. What have you seen from the leaders and yourself included in that?
I just seen a focus this week. We've had a great week of practice. We had a great walkthrough today, and you could just tell the intensity and the focus is there from top down, from rookies up to the veterans, because the vets, we make sure that we emphasize how important this game is, because obviously there's guys that were here that weren't here in 2018 or 2019, so they might not have felt the same way at the beginning of the week. But I think being in practice this week and hearing what the vets have to say, that everybody has caught on to how important this game is.
Cody was sort of saying if you're not on first or efficient on first downs, you're not going to beat these teams.
Oh yeah, you have to be efficient on first down because they play, like I said, they play their zones very well. It'll be hard to convert long second down. So as long as we're efficient on third down, I think we'll be great. And it's going to be tough for them to stop us because, like I said, we had a great week of practice, and we know what we have to do, and we know how important this game is, and our focus is there.
He was also saying that you guys sort of maybe feel a little bit underappreciated, and the people have not given you the credit for what you've done, and that you guys might have a chip on your shoulder. Is that?
Oh yeah, definitely. But I think it might be a little warranted. At the end of the day, we haven't done anything in the playoffs, and that's what matters at the end of the day. We've had great regular seasons since I've been here. 12-6 my first year, 13-5 second year. Second in the West, first in the West, but it don't mean anything because we didn't win any playoff games. So, and they were both at home. So, at the end of the day, you may be a little underappreciated, but it may be warranted a little bit because we have to prove that we can do something when it matters.
Duke mentioned yesterday he likes going against zone teams. He says they don't think they can cover you guys. Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, they're a little different than they were a couple of years ago, and I think there'll be more opportunities in their zones for us to execute. And I think the main thing with us this week is getting yards after the catch. Because there's going to be openings, and we just have to take advantage of those openings when we get the ball in our hands and getting upfield. Because, like I said, there's going to be holes. We just have to catch the ball and get upfield, and I think we'll be good there.
So what's after bantamweight? Is it cruiserweight, or do you go all the way up to middleweight?
I think it goes all the way to heavyweight, but you have to accumulate points, and I missed too many games, so I couldn't accumulate any points. So I got this the first couple of weeks, and then I got hurt, so I wasn't able to get up in weight class this year.
Are there any heavyweights?
Cody and Willie P. Yeah, I think so.
Is that a fun team building thing?
It's just an incentive, basically, just go out there and try to make as many plays as you can, whether it's special teams, offense, defense, big plays, whatever you need to do. And so it's a little incentive, basically.
After having a year off from football because of COVID, I know you appreciate the playoffs regardless. Is there more of appreciation now at the opportunity to play football?
Yeah, I've been feeling that since the first, since they announced that we were having a season, and especially that first game. I think I shed a little tear, before the first game, just because I was so appreciative of being back here and being back on the field, because it was a whole year off. So, but definitely, now it's the playoffs, so it's definitely more of an appreciation, because that it can go at any time. So I'm just happy that we have another opportunity to showcase ourselves.
Shaq, a lot of people I don't think know the story behind the T-shirts. Can you, however deep you want to, can you describe what they're all about?
Like I said, it's a point system, and obviously, like on special teams, you get points for a knockdown or drawing a penalty or making a big hit, causing a fumble. Defense, interceptions, sacks, drawn penalties, things like that. Offense, 25-yard plays or more, touchdowns, things like that. Getting first downs and things like that. So it's just a way to incentivize everybody to go out there and play hard, and I think it's really clever. And we've had it since at least I think since I've been here, and so I think I made it to whatever classes below heavyweight last year, but like I said, this year I wasn't able to accumulate enough points because I didn't play all 14 games. I only played, I think, 6 or 7. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's basically what it is. It's just an incentive, and it's a point system. So everybody can go up. Obviously, the people that touch the ball more are able to get to heavyweight. That's why Cody's always in heavyweight, because he touches the ball every play. So he has an effect on every play. So it's easy, a little easier for him to get to heavyweight than it is for a receiver.
All week I've tried to get someone on either team to sort of say something bad about the other group. It's clearly you guys don't like each other, but it's obviously pretty deliberate that you guys are not trying to talk trash in the media, right?
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you don't want to give anybody fuel. At the end of the day, you don't want to give anybody fuel. And I know Duke said something earlier in the week that was a little bit of trash talk, but it really wasn't. It's just saying that he's confident in our guys, and he doesn't feel like they can guard us. At the end of the day, we respect Calgary as an opponent. But yeah, it's no secret. We don't like them. They don't like us, and that's why I think it's going to be a legendary game tomorrow.
You talked about the pressure and how big this game is. Have you guys talked about keeping the emotions in check tomorrow?
Oh yeah, definitely, because we know there's going to be your adrenaline is going to be going tomorrow. It's a playoff game, and just the magnitude of the game. Like I said, I've never felt like this before a game, and I've played in some big games in college. I played in the Pac-12 championship. I played in big games, but This is different, man. So you definitely got to just keep your emotions in check, because you don't want to get a dumb penalty or do something, like get a penalty like jumping outside or something, because you're just so amped up that you're not even listening to the entire call. So definitely is something that we're definitely going to address probably again before we go out there for kickoff, and I think we'll be good.
You have looked frustrated since you've been back. Is it piss you off just because it's not coming back as quick as you thought it might?
Yeah, man, it's been a tough year, just putting in all that work and then having a year off of football, and then, 5 quarters into the season, you break your leg and then you're out, and then you come back, and then it's taking you a few games to feel like yourself again. So it's just been a frustrating year, but it's never directed towards anybody. It's just frustration. I feel like anybody in my situation would be a little frustrated. Maybe I shouldn't show it as much, but it's not about us as individual player or mad at a coach or, like I said, a player or anything. It's just frustration within myself, just coupled with everything that's been going on. Like I said, you're off football, getting hurt, and just trying to get back in shape and things like that. But now, like I feel like myself again, and it's the perfect time. So it's like a new season, get a fresh start, and I'm ready for tomorrow.
Great. Thanks, Jack.
Yep. I can take both of you.
Yeah.
out there like that.
For you, is it as for us?
I would say so, yeah.
Knows what the camera gets at here.
Jim, where's home for you now?
I wish I knew.
Are you in Calgary still?
I'm kind of like you.
Okay.
Because of the time of the year.
Yeah, you gotta keep rolling.
I'm Las Vegas with my kids though down in
Okay.
Vegas. So that
All right.
was-
You don't have the place in Calgary anymore?
No,
Okay.
no Calgary.
All right. Go ahead.
Coach Shaq said this is the biggest game of his life. What is it for you?
It's a big one. I'm glad to hear he said that. You know, it means a lot to him, and I'm happy to hear that it does. I don't know if it's the biggest game of my life, but it's definitely a big game. It's a big game, I think, for this team, for this coaching staff, for me personally, and this organization. We are hired to win playoff games and try to make a run at it. So it's a big game. Our guys have approached the week seriously all week, and I think we're ready to play.
Do you say that because it is a playoff game, or is there something special to this being a playoff game?
No, it's a playoff game. I mean, you only get so many cracks at it. So if you can make the playoffs, you want to make a run. It doesn't matter, honestly, that we're playing Calgary or that it's my brother's team, or it doesn't matter. It matters that we're in the playoffs and we got a chance to advance and win a championship. If you don't get in the playoffs, you don't have that chance. So it's an important game. Is it more important than other playoff games? No. But it's the one right in front of us. So, Derek, it's the most important game of our lives at this moment.
What do you believe you have that would allow you to make a run?
Well, I think we got the players in-house. I really do. And I think if we get hot, we can make a run. I think we've gotten, I don't want to say healthy, but we've gotten the right guys back at the right time. And I think we've got enough depth that if we can get hot, we can make a run.
Cody sort of said if you are not efficient, if any team is not efficient on first down against the Stampeders, you're just not going to beat them. Is that?
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, it's tough to get first downs when you're second and long because that's when usually the kitchen sink comes at you. So if we can keep it into second and medium, second and short, your chances of being successful are a lot greater.
I'll let you go.
Craig, inside that locker room, have you noticed something different from the guys who've been here in 2018 and 2019 who've been a part of those home playoff losses?
Yeah, I have. Everybody, as you get older, you realize your chances are fewer and fewer. And I do sense that, especially out of guys like Dan Clark and Micah Johnson, A.C. Leonard. They know, that there's only so many cracks at it. So they want to make hay while they can. So some of the rookies think you're going to be in the playoffs and make a run every year or have a chance to. And the veterans know. Even though it's a 9-team league, it's hard to win the Grey Cup, and you only get so many cracks at it. So I think there's a little more urgency in the locker room.
Craig, it feels like a lot of games recently you haven't exactly been pleased with the performance post-game. What kind of gives you confidence that you guys can flip the switch tomorrow?
Well, we've had a good week of practice. I mean, that's really the only thing that gives you confidence. You can say what you want about what the game means or doesn't mean, but really you need to see it on the field. You need to see guys practice well. And we have practiced well this week. So I just think we're capable of so much more. And that's why I've been pleased with our effort. I've been pleased with the result, but I just feel like we haven't played our best game yet. And I'd like to see our guys do that.
It's a bit silly because winning the turnover battle is huge in any game, but I mean the turnovers did play a role in those 3 games you played against the Stamps. How big do you see it being?
Yeah, it's possessions when you play good teams, right? If you get more possessions than they get, you got a chance, and that's what turnovers do. And they're momentum plays too. Momentum's tricky. You could see it in the game Calgary played against Winnipeg last week. Winnipeg had it for 57 minutes, and all of a sudden Calgary storms back and wins it late. So turnovers get you extra possessions, and they do create some momentum, which I think is really important, especially in the playoff atmosphere.
As the Calgary reporter, I was at that game, but you did rewatch that game and try to find stuff? Because it didn't seem like there could have been much in it.
I watched it.
Once?
I watched it twice.
Craig, Cody Pedrano was saying maybe there's a lack of respect for you guys, but you are hosting a game. There weren't enough All-Stars. Do you believe the Roughriders are respected?
Yes, I do, but I do feel like we had maybe poor representation on the All-Star team. We did finish second in the West. Wasn't pretty at all, but we did win 9 games, and we only had 2 All-Stars. So I think the players in there are a little bit irked at that. We had two guys that tied. AC won the SAC title, and Jonathan Woodard was second, and neither one of them got an All-Star. So we didn't make a huge deal out of it, Mark, because there's more important things. But I do think there's some folks in that locker room that feel that maybe we got left out of some of those All-Star awards at the end of the year.
Craig, Garrett Marino's not on the roster, and I think I saw him on the injury list with a knee.
Yeah, his knee's bugging him still a little bit, Murray. So we're gonna go with Lanier, and we're gonna go with Mac Henry inside.
So he's had such a challenging season for Marino. It's disappointing to see this.
Yeah, he's gonna be okay if we can win. I mean, it's not anything that's gonna set him back. I don't think next week, but Garrett needs to practice. He needs to have a full week of practice in order to play well, and he wasn't able to practice this week because of it. But we'll address the roster next week. If we get it next week, we'll look at finding ways how we can try to get him on. But he's got to be healthy, one, and we got to feel like he's going to play without committing a bunch of penalties, too.
Probably says something to keep asking questions about the backup quarterbacks. But,
You were on it.
But, sorry. Mason Fine's listed second on the depth chart, and Harker's third. Is that decision?
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So it wasn't an easy decision, and it was a tough conversation with Isaac, but we just feel like Mason gives us a little better chance. We hope Cody's healthy and plays every snap, but if he does get nicked up or if we need a change of pace, Mason's the guy.
You're obviously not going to hold Kadeem Carey to 0 yards, but what can you do to limit his impact?
Yeah, he's a tough player. I think you just make him earn it. You make him earn it and try to put as many helmets on him as you can. Make him sore early in the game, and hopefully you feel like you can take him out of his rhythm a little bit. But he's good. When he's rolling, he seems to get, like most backs, he gets stronger as the game goes on. So we want to start fast and try to be as physical as we can early in the game. But he's a good player. If he goes off, it's going to be a long day for us.
At this point, I mean, based on those 3 games, Calgary is pretty much guaranteed just to go for it for a big play early?
Probably, yeah. They'll max it. David's pretty smart. He knows. I think they'll try to hit us with one early, and hopefully we can defend it.
We have seen Achilles injuries come back in the same year before. Are any of your pre-camp guys close? Should go beyond this weekend?
Not really, Glenn. I mean, the closest would be Larry Dean. He's moving around pretty well, and I don't think we're going to push it with him, but he's moving around and he's training with Coach Clinton. He looks pretty good. So he would be the only possibility.
Mike Rose did pretty well against you guys when you guys played those 3 games in October. Anything you guys can do to kind of hold him back?
Well, I mean, you can slide your protection one way or the other, but, good defense coordinators are going to move their linemen around. So we put a big emphasis on winning individual matchups. If we can help a guard out with a center, we will, or if we can chip attack with a tight end or a fullback on a D end, we will. But ultimately, those guys up front got to win some individual matchups and try to limit, the impact that Mike has because he's a good player.
Okay.
Thanks, Greg.
All right. See you guys.